today I've got my two grands with me, Julia Grace and Charlotte, but Charlotte likes to be called what?
Charlie!
Yes, she likes to be called Charlie. And so sometimes if you watch my teaching videos, I tell stories about these two. And so I thought it would be really special for you to get to meet them. So today, they're going to help me do some cooking. Now, we've got some new subscribers this month. We want to say welcome to you. And of course, our old subscribers, thank you for coming back. One of the regular free downloads that we provide every month here across my heart is the Do It List. And so the Do It List is a one-page tool to help you keep your home tidy, organized, and clean. It's conveniently on one page because those binders and all those pages to keep organized drove me crazy, so I figured out a way to get it on one page. So there are daily tasks, monthly tasks that you do once a month, and then the weekly tasks that you do once a week. And if you're like me, that type A personality just loves to check off the boxes having it done. So you don't have to do it all in one day. I've always said if Tuesday were cleaning day, I wouldn't even want to get out of bed on Tuesday. So this just kind of trains us to do a little bit each day and keep home and hearth tidy, neat, and organized. Now, one of the things on the Do It list for the monthly list is to take inventory of what's in your freezer. And by doing that once a month, you don't let stuff get lost and forgotten back there in the back of your freezer burned, unrecognizable, and money going in the trash. So when I was doing my freezer inventory this month, I found some ground beef that I had not used. And so I'm going to show you today what I'm doing with that ground beef. Also, I wanted to mention the reason that I call this the Do It List is in honor of this sweet thing. Because when Julia Grace was around 2 years old, our first granddaughter, Poppy, my husband Kevin, her granddaddy, and I would say, Julia Grace, let's go for a walk. And she would say, let's do it, Kay? And so she couldn't say okay. She would, everything you would suggest to do. Julia Grace, do you want to go to the park? Let's do it. It was always let's do it. And so that's sort of become a phrase in our family. So when I started to develop the Do It List, this organizational tool, and I needed a name, the Do It List sort of came to mind in honor of Julia Grace. So today, I'm introducing the Do It List for the month of July, but you also get to meet the young lady in whose honor it was named. So back to the freezer list. So today we got a recipe for you, and the grands are going to help me make, what are we making today, Charlie?
Lasagna!
Lasagna. And what are we going to do with this lasagna tonight after we make it?
Serve it.
We're going to serve it, and we're going to serve it to our family, aren't we? And everybody loves lasagna. So lasagna is a great freezer meal. It's a great make and take meal if you need to take a meal to a family or someone who's lost a loved one or is welcoming a new baby. But it's also a great way to use up some leftover ground beef that you found in your freezer like I did that needed to be used up. So this morning I browned some ground beef, and what I like to do when I make spaghetti sauce to make my lasagna or to make spaghetti or to use the leftovers to make homemade pizza, I like to mix in a pound of sweet Italian sausage. It just gives it such a yummy flavor that almost adds sort of a restaurant upscale flavor to it. So some of my tips, I do use traditional spaghetti sauce. This is a Kroger brand. I use Aldi brand. I'm not partial to Prego or any of those more gourmet sauces. I just use whatever's on sale. But I start by browning a pound of ground beef and a pound of that sweet Italian sausage. I put in a sweet Vidalia onion, most of it, this is what's left. And I also diced up about half of a red pepper and half of a yellow pepper. I didn't have a green one, or I would have diced up some of it as well. I added some Italian seasoning as it was getting to the end. And so then just let all that simmer. And I've got a nice rich spaghetti sauce here that we're going to use as the base for our lasagna. And then in a couple days, y'all might see some homemade pizza make its way onto your table as well. The great thing about making spaghetti sauce is it's so versatile. You can serve spaghetti, you can serve lasagna, you can make homemade pizza, and then it freezes so well. So you can just freeze the spaghetti sauce and do any one of those later. So I'm going to make mine in a 9.5 by 11. We're always going to spray it. Why do you think we spray it, Julia Grace?
So that it doesn't stick to the pan.
You don't want to stick to the pan, of course. So we're going to spray it really well because we don't want it to stick. I'm just using this plain old cooking spray that we keep on hand. There we go. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the lasagna. and put in the spaghetti sauce. And I'm gonna do this because it's really hot. And then I'm gonna have the girls help me with the lasagna noodles. Now, a tip on the lasagna noodles. I learned this trick from my mom, who is your granny. I'm Grammy and she's Granny. But years ago, I learned the tip from my mom that you do not have to cook your lasagna noodles. All the package instructions from the recipes in the old days say to boil the noodles, and then you're burning your fingers trying to deal with those floppy noodles that are hot and spreading them out and they're sticking together. You don't need to do that. The noodles will soften up from the sauce. Learned that trick from my mama, and it's worked every time. Now, it doesn't, the noodles today, almost every package I look at will say oven ready, but here's your clue. Whether it says oven ready or not, the noodles will soak up the moisture in the sauce. They'll be softened as they bake. You never have to boil the noodles, whether it says oven ready or not. They've gotten all fancy and figured out my mama's trick, and they put oven ready on the box, but you don't have to boil them. You never had to boil them. And now we all know because most of the boxes say oven ready. Okay, so here's what the lasagna noodles look like. Charlie, do you think that looks yummy to eat right now? It's kind of hard. Do you think it would hurt your tooth?
And wobble it up.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat it like that, would you? But guess what? When we put it in here, the sauce is going to make it soft like a noodle. So when you eat it, it'll taste yummy, right? Do you think so? So we are going to, I'm going to let you each put one beside the other one. Put that one in there. And Charlie can put the other one beside of that one. The great thing about lasagna is it just goes together so very quickly. So we've got a layer of sauce, and you want sauce on both sides of the lasagna noodle. So I'm going to go,
Grammy, what's the cheese for?
we're going to put the cheese on top. The first layer, I just did some sauce so the noodle isn't hitting the bottom. But after this, we're going to cover it with the sauce, and then we're going to sprinkle the cheese on top. And you get to help me sprinkle the cheese. So I got a little more lasagna to cover.
Over there.
Over there, thank you. Do you see any more pieces, little corners?
Here.
Okay, here we go. We don't want any little sharp edges, because guess what? If they don't get softened by the sauce, they're going to be hard, and we don't want to break a tooth on hard lasagna, do we?
Yeah, and have to go to the dentist.
And you'd have to go to the dentist, and nobody wants. That's no fun. No trips to the dentist while you're visiting Grammy. So on my cheese, I use mozzarella, but also these days you can get an Italian style. So I have some of this and a lot of this. I'm going to mix them both together. The Italian style blend is a mixture of mozzarella, provolone, Romano, Parmesan, and Asiago, all shredded together. When my mom used to make it, I think she used Munster, mozzarella, and something else. But I used to do that, but it just got to be too much trouble for me to buy it all and shred it all. So now that they've got the Italian blend, that's really great. So let's start with the mozzarella, because that's what I have the most of. Charlie, I'm going to scoot this down, and then I'll give Julia Grace a turn with the next layer. How's that sound, darling?
So what can I do?
Okay, we're going to mix it. We're just going to sprinkle it. So can you get a handful? And what did I ask you to do before we started cooking today?
Wash your hands.
Did you wash your hands, Charlie? And did you use soap?
Yes, I saw her.
Okay, so that means it's safe to put our hands in here. Grammy just can't help but get her hands in the food when she's cooking. All right, are you missing some spots that you need to add more cheese? Put it in there. Here we go. Oh, we're making a little bit of a mess, but that's okay. We'll just vacuum it up later, right? All right, do you see?
Things can really get messy when you're baking.
That's right. Baking and cooking can be a messy business. All right, Charlie, do you think you've covered all the red sauce? What do you think? And I'm just going to take a little sprinkling of this.
Can I do some?
Just a little bit right there on the top. Okay. Now, what do we need to add next? Another layer of what?
Sauce.
Not sauce.
Noodles.
We're going to add some noodles. Okay, so there's one for you. And there's one for you. And put them on closer to this end this time. Whoops. Just put it down there. Charlie, you put another one down here, close to that one. And we'll put this one right here. And there we go. Sometimes I'll break them up if there's a little piece at the end, and I'm not even going to bother doing that this time. We're just going to keep rolling here.
Right.
Keep it rolling. This is such a nice thing to do. We have a big day planned. We're going to take an outing, but if we do our lasagna in the morning and we put it in the fridge, it just has to bake for an hour at 350. So we'll be home in time to have a little rest before dinner. And I won't have to cook dinner. It's already done. So this is a great make-ahead meal to do when you have company or when you've got a big day planned, because you can do it early or do it the day before and then just put it in and bake it. And an hour goes by pretty quickly while you're making the salad or whatever vegetable you want to serve. And voila, there you go. All right, now what do we need? More cheese.
Which is my turn to do.
That's right. Julia Grace's turn this time. So let's start with the mozzarella. I'm going to sprinkle that on. I'm going to help a little bit. And Charlie, you keep an eye out. And when Julia Grace is done, if you see any places that she needs more cheese, you can use your sharp eyes and tell her where to put it. Okay, look in there. Where do we need more cheese? Right there. She's helping you, okay? Julia Grace, I know you feel like you need that help, right?
Kind of, not really.
Okay, I think we're getting it. I think we're getting it. Will you all remember this recipe?
Maybe.
You're using your surprise eyes? Those are your sharp eyes. Okay, I'm going to mix just a little.
Why don't you show everyone your surprise eyes?
Are those surprise eyes? That's what
really
you're
like I want.
You know what? I think that's what Poppy is going to say when I say, guess who made the lasagna? And when I say Julia Grace and Charlotte, what will Poppy's surprise eyes look like? Really? My granddaughters made lasagna? And we'll say, yes, they did. Okay, Charlie, what goes on next now? Another layer of what?
Noodles!
Another
what
layer
about
of
the
noodles.
Italian cheese?
I sprinkled a little bit on that already. Okay, let's go back to this end now. Okay, there you go. One there, one there, one here. And we're getting to the top. Lasagna is just layers and layers and layers, isn't it? You just keep layering it on.
Yes.
Okay, so what do I put on next?
Sauce!
Put on the sauce. Grab that sauce, pull it over here. So yummy. And mine is pretty thick. I like it thick because we like it meaty, but I could easily have added another jar of spaghetti sauce to stretch it a little further. If you've got more family members coming and you want to make it an Italian smorgasbord night for dinner, you can add another thing of sauce to it and then serve up some spaghetti on the side. So you could have options, lasagna and spaghetti all in one night.
There's one problem. We're almost out.
One problem, we're almost out. Well, you know what? It's a good thing that we're
over here
that
and
this is
over
the
there.
last layer. Yes, want to get all those little corners out.
Over here.
They're not going to let me miss one spot. We will have no hard noodles
There.
to break our teeth and end up going to the dentist. So we're going to be safe. Okay, I don't see any noodles that are exposed. So we're finished. There we go. And now, we should put cheese on the top, but what Grammy likes to do with that last top layer of cheese is to wait and put it on about the last 15 minutes that you bake. Because sometimes otherwise the cheese gets a little too crispy. If you like your cheese on top kind of crispy, go ahead and put it on. If not, when you put this into a preheated oven at 350, set the timer for 45 minutes, take it out, sprinkle on the rest of your cheese, and then bake it another 15. It'll come out delicious and piping hot and yummy. Absolutely delicious. One other quick thing to add. We always like to make lasagna. This is our traditional meal for Christmas Eve dinner. I know this is July, but give you a little Christmas in July tip. And the reason I do that is because Christmas Day dinner has all of those casseroles and vegetables and potatoes and meat and all that. And so we have found it really nice just to sort of clear your palate on Christmas Eve by having a traditional Italian meal and salad, and then you're ready for all the casseroles the next day. Well, I hope you'll give our lasagna a try. I hope you'll download your own copy of the Do It List. You can find that link in the show notes below. And I hope that whatever you're doing this July, you're celebrating America. What are we wearing today? Our red, white, and blue to be all celebrating for the 4th of July. So we hope you have a blessed day, and I just want to remind you that we do have some fun here at the channel on Mondays, sharing a recipe or a cleaning tip. But Cross My Heart exists to encourage women to love God and to love His Word. If you come back every Friday, we'll have a teaching video for you from the Word of God. Also check out our video where we introduce the new Write the Word bookmark for the month of July. The word this month is the word thirst. Thirst is a good word for summer because we're physically thirsty, but we pray that you are thirsting for God and thirsting for His Word. Thanks for spending part of your day with us for Cross My Heart Ministry. I'm Laura McFarland, and this is Julia Grace and Charlie. Can you wave goodbye?
Bye.
Thank you for spending part of your day with us.